this all in one sitting. But this was something really big. I saw quite a few videos on this very subject, and it was mainly blame things. People were talking about the older generation yelling at the young generation, and that's it. And the young generation is fussing with the older generation because they don't understand, and that's it. Okay, the situation right now has nothing to do with those two generations anymore. I am part, you're a part, we're all apart between the ages of 18 and 25 and 30 are now a part of the lost generation. We have gotten so far in mental, spiritual, social, and financial debt that we can't pull ourselves out of it anymore. We have let for so long other people take care of our responsibilities. Older generation, you are at fault too because you did a lot just of what we did. Sitting around thinking that, okay, we'll take care of it later. We're young, so we're going to enjoy ourselves, and every generation does it. Right now, we're all in the stage of dealing with the younger generation, present generation, of attracting the opposite sex. This is about pheromones and sex and sexuality and doing this and doing that, enjoying yourself. I'm guilty of it myself. We're all guilty of it. You know, when you're young and you're single, you want to have sex. You want to enjoy yourself. So the last thing that is on many of our minds is doing some serious work in the community. Now, if you can attract somebody there, oh yeah, you probably right there doing it. But for the most part, most of the appealing people that we want to attract are too busy trying to appeal to other people that attract them. So while we're looking for them, they're looking for us, and we're too busy focused on that. We're not thinking about what's going to happen tomorrow because we're so busy trying to have something to go home with tonight. Now, when you get married and you have kids and you settle down, that could be the time you do some things, but you have children now and you're raising your children. And what are you going to raise your children to do? Get a job, take care of themselves, live a better life than you did. And that is your primary and main focus as a parent, making them prepared for tomorrow. But it falls short, falls very short. You don't teach them how to deal with certain things because you just can't get there to teach them that because maybe you didn't get to that point where you understood and learned how to do it yourself. The older generation, you know, you grew up live on TV watching Martin and Malcolm and Gandhi and Kennedy. You grew up watching these individuals. Yet, what happened? You didn't take the information and you didn't pass it on to us. Background movement. You fell short of getting the information out to us. And that is the point of, being a parent. You have to pass down what you've known. You have to carry that information on to the next generation. So, not every parent failed because there's a lot of us out there trying to do our best. Now, my parents probably failed in certain areas as far as, getting me prepared for the financial type of life and such and such. And other parents may have failed on teaching their kids the political aspects and seeing what's really going on in the world and handling that. And others probably just didn't teach their kids about the birds and the bees. That's why they're out here having 5, 6 kids, and some are getting these diseases and dying from them. Others are getting obese from eating all this bad stuff, and they didn't have the guidance to learn how to eat healthy. There's so many things that you have to get from your parents, but there's also so many things that you have to adapt and get to on your own. I'm a vegan. My parents were not. You know, my father, he ate every piece of meat possible. My mother, she's sort of following me now. She's getting there. She still eats the poultry and the fish and I think the occasional piece of bovine meat. Me myself, I'm the only person in my family, immediate and distant family that I know of that does not eat any animal products whatsoever. But I got that information on my own. I understood that on my own. I'm the only person that I know of in my family. Maybe there's some others. Maybe a cousin of mine may be watching this video right now and be like, I didn't know he does that. But I'm the only one I know of that's into the things that I'm into, that talks about the things I talk about, and very vocal on situations that I should be very vocal about. But there's always a foundation that gets you somewhere at some point in your life that you may not know about. My father always said little things to get me thinking back in the day. Now, he may not have done things, but he's seen some things and grew up on some things. And he passed that little bit down to me. Didn't pass everything, but just that little bit that got me thinking. Same with my mother. Same situation. A little bit goes a long way. So if you can, put little seeds of information in your children's head. Like you see, racism is still alive because there's still some older generations teaching younger generations, and when they have kids, they teach that same ignorance to their children. And it still goes on and on and on. When you really sit down and look at all the evidence, everybody is basically from Africa. Everybody's ancestry can be linked back to that one woman from Africa, from thousands and thousands of years ago. Okay? On a genetic level, there is nothing really different about us. I have more melanin in my blood than white people. And that may be the only difference. And my penis is bigger. But, that's another thing. Alright. But getting back to the point. The things that we take up today are things that was passed on from yesterday. And if you want some things to happen, you can't change the present generation to doing anything different. What you have to do, get the older generation and the younger generation together, put the current generation together, and when you have children, you have to get together and you have to educate those children. So the older generation has to talk about their experience, and the present generation has to talk about their present experiences. So the future generation can look at both of those ideas and move forward as another generation that will take over this world when we get too old and the older generation dies. Hopefully, I made some points. If I didn't make a clear point on certain issues, bring it to my attention. Write an email, write a comment, rate this, do something, pass it along. Let's not get to a complacent point where we just watch something and leave it alone. If something you didn't agree with or whatever, make it known. We need a dialogue on this issue. Seriously, older people, get with your younger people and talk about some of these things so we can get to the babies and educate them on something. A lot can change if people start getting down and talking throughout the age groups. This is Jolly Lee.